What's up YouTube? It's Meltin Metal Anthony, and today we're doing some equipment repair. We gotta go ahead and cut this crack out that this guy's got in his quick connect thumb, air arc him out, and then we'll weld it up with some Polaris A from Rock Mount. It's got better elongation than 7018. I don't want this to crack again on this guy. Let's start air arcing. All right guys, I'm gonna give you a little air arc tutorial. If you're gonna do heavy equipment, you need to air arc. So here's your air arc torch, if you want to call it that. It's got the spot for the air. I'm going to do that before I turn the compressor on because this is a rotary screw. Rotary screws put on a lot of air. You need a lot of air if you're going to gouge. Then you simply take your stinger and hook it right onto the lug. And that's it, basically. Now you got to be amperage wise on this. So we're going to be about 200 amps. This is like some 5/8, something like that, plate that this stuff is made out of. And we're just gonna push this crack out with the air arc. It's the quickest, cheapest, fastest way. We wanna save our customer money. Time is money. He doesn't wanna see me out here fucking around. He wants this thing blown out and welded up within a couple of hours. So let's get a gouging rod or a carbon. So this is what carbons look like. These are just some cheapy Blue Demon carbons. They work well for me. This is the end I like to ignite with. You can go on the other end. I don't know if there's a difference. I really don't know that. Might be an icy weld question. But anyway, let's get the compressor going. Let's get the welder going, and we'll start blowing some metal out. So I put it up to 200 amps. I put the stick on stiff, and I have it on DC EP, electrode positive. I'm gonna turn the truck on. So this truck has a rotary screw compressor. It's a very high powered compressor. PTO driven. I always like PTO driven, not electric over hydraulic. So the motor actually runs the PTO. Let the PTO get the juices flowing, be patient, and then we get that noisy ass compressor. All right, start blowing some metal out. So obviously my air arc is fucked up. It's missing the cover. You know, I needed to buy a new one in reality. So those little air holes, you want those faced towards the way you're blowing the weld out. So we're gonna be doing this. I need to get my leads out of the way. I don't wanna melt them. This shit gets super hot. And we're just gonna blow the weld out. All right, so as you can see, this thing really takes some material out. You know, we're almost all the way through it. Now, people will be like, oh, you gotta drill the hole at the end of a crack. What am I gonna spend all fucking day drilling a hole through this shit? No, just gouge past the crack. Don't fucking waste your time drilling holes. You look like an asshole. Nobody drills holes on material this shit, and if they do, they're ignorant. So yeah, the other thing you gotta be aware of when you're doing this is hydraulic lines. You know, you wanna have a fire blanket with you to protect those, but we're nowhere near them, so I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna reposition the thumb to make it easier to gouge. Now, the other thing about these carbons, they're super sensitive. Let me show you something. I'll just break this one for you guys. Look at that. Barely touched it. The fucking thing snaps in half. So you have to be aware of that when you set your carbon down. All right, I just needed to make a micro adjustment. And now what I'm gonna do is just kind of take the rest of this carbon and see. It's like a bad position, but I think I can blow it out right there. That's what I'm hoping to do. I'll put a brand new carbon in this thing. All right, so let's try to blow this out. The beautiful thing about this compressor is it pushes some air. I think I need to blow the weld out now. All right, so now I'm gonna blow the backside out. The reason I really concentrated on the outside on that one is because it's gonna be easier to weld from the outside, obviously. I am gonna have to lay down at least one bead in here, and we'll try to get it in the horizontal position. Make it easy, don't make it hard. You know, this isn't a test of skills, it's a job. So again, we're just doing some dry runs, trying to get it positioned. Oh, the problem is the handle is on this side. It was easier on the other side because the handle wasn't in the way. I can see through the crack now, so we've opened it up quite a bit, but I'm having a hell of a time trying to think of an easier way to do this. All right, so we might break out a Rock Mount product. We might break out some Electro AAA. Let's try that. Also, would you mind shutting the truck off? Okay, oh, actually, just don't shut it off. I'll do it. Let me show you how to do it real quick. Compressor PTO off first. Let it run for a second, regular PTO off. I let the truck idle down. I like to be nice to my shit, and then off. All right, so I'm gonna go get a electric AAA rod. That's an airless gouging rod from Rock Mount. Run these similar settings. I'm actually gonna turn the welder up, I believe. Hold on, it's been a minute since I've used these. What I like about Rock Mount is they put all the instructions right in the box. So if you're dumb like me, you can just read the box. So these run at 225 amps, and all you need is a stinger. Yeah, much easier to get this in there. And if you watch my videos, you know I love these rods. They're also good for gouging out carbon deposits when you make a mistake with your air arc, which you might at some point. If you're me, you will. All right, so I'm about satisfied with that. The other side, the crack was just in the weld. It wasn't all the way through. So I'll probably just like finish that up with a grinder. I'm gonna get it with my flathead Milwaukee grinder. Gonna take some rod to fill this fucking thing up. All right, so what I'm doing is repositioning the thumb. I want to make it a horizontal weld. Horizontal is easier than vertical, right? I still need to do a little bit more cleanup, but I also wanted to see if I could get the grinder in there a little easier, which I can. You want to clean the front and the back of the weld surface if you can. If you can't, use a cellulose root, which we still might do because there's some shit in here I'm not able to clean up. All right, so always the cleaner the better. Cleanliness is next to holiness when it comes to welding, but there's some shit in there I just can't get to. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use what's called the Tartan B rod for our root. It's a cellulose rod. I don't usually like to use cellulose in heavy equipment, but I think it's the way to do this one. Let's shut the machine off and we'll go ahead and do it. So the advantage you have when you're using Rock Mount is these rods are specifically meant to ride around in a service bed. You don't have to worry about moisture, you don't have to worry about any of that bullshit like you have to worry about with your typical 60-10, 70-18. 70-18 is low hydrogen, they'll get hydrogen soaked if you just leave them in your bed, not Polaris A. This is a low hydrogen rod, but it has like a wax coating on it, so hydrogen doesn't seep into the rods. We're gonna try 90 amps. I'm not sure if that's the ticket yet, but we'll know when we start welding. So what we're gonna do, because the gap is kind of big at the start there, is we're gonna use a runoff tab. I'm gonna use this piece of angle I got laying in the bed. I keep little pieces of angle and little pieces of flat in my bed for moments such as this. So let's just cut us a little piece. So as you can see, we're getting a nice root in there. It's working out pretty good. We got a little lack of fusion right there, so we're gonna throw a cutoff or a grinding disc in there and just grind this. All right, we got that lack of fusion cut out. I think I put her a little too cold, so I'm gonna bump it back into 85. You know, some people say this Tartan B is like a 60-13. I don't see that at all. It's more like a 60-10, 70-10 to me. It's a really great rod. It might be a little hot here because the hole is bigger, the gap is bigger, but we're making it happen. We're definitely getting full penetration now, no lack of fusion, I can see it. All right. So that root looks a little bit better. There's no lack of fusion now. So let me, the little chip and hammer action. See if there's a place I can hang this thing. Beautiful, look at that. Okay, I'm too old to kneel on the ground anymore. I can't keep doing that shit, so I reposition the machine. Usually you want to unplug the machine, unplug the battery, I should say, but we're so localized. I discussed it with the owner. He's like, I don't care, whatever you think is right. So we're so localized, I didn't disconnect the battery. Now, if I was welding somewhere else in the machine and there was some distance between the ground and where I'm welding, I would disconnect the battery for sure. All All right, so if you look on the back side, we welded it all the way through. So we are gonna come back and we are gonna cap this side also with our low hydrogen rod, or Rock Mount's version of low hydrogen. So see if I can get the fucking wire wheel in there. This is always the challenge with heavy equipment. You know, I think heavy equipment is one of the most difficult types of welding you can do, because the fit up is never perfect, the gaps are always weird, and there's a lot of stress on this stuff. It's not like a pipe or even a structure. You know, I've seen a lot of shit get away on a structure that would never get away on a piece of heavy equipment. So now we're switching to our Polaris A. I'm gonna bump the amperage up. Let's see, what do they suggest? You can get up to 120, they're saying. I'm gonna soften it a little bit, not a lot. I'm gonna go 125, because this is a thick piece of steel, but it should have a little bit of a preheat in it from what we just put our root in. Now I said, cleanliness is next to godliness. So want to make sure we get this really clean. Yeah, and don't do what I just did and use safety squints. That was a bad idea, because one piece of hot slag could ruin your fucking day for sure. And you know, I'm no fucking pussy. I'd keep welding even though there's shit in my eye. I've done it many times. Don't do that, kids. That was stupid of me. I just didn't realize I was doing it. All right, so I'm actually gonna run this way because there is a slight uphill. I need to grind this actually. All right, so this is probably one of the most important parts of the repair. You want to make sure that you see how there's like hardly any spots where there's lack of fusion. We got a little bit right there, but we'll cut that out at the end and fix that once we take this runoff tab out. This is very important because you'll get inclusions in those little pockets. And if you get inclusions, it's prone to breaking again. So let's give this guy one hell of a repair. Oh, let's not fucking blind myself though. That's the problem with switching between hoods. You'll forget you have one or the other on, you'll blind yourself on accident. Now, because the weld wasn't the same thickness all the way through, what I'm doing is I'm going back to the grinder. We had a spot when I started that was just slightly cold. It's a very good weld, but it's slightly cold. And you see that V groove, that will catch slag, and you will get an inclusion, and it could be a problem. You could weld over it and never have an issue. You could just turn it up, burn it out. That doesn't fucking work, kids. Don't do that. All right, now we've got past the point where I shouldn't have to put the grinding disc back on anymore. We should be able to just use straight wire wheel all the way out and burn some rod in this mother. I would like to use some 5/32. It would make this go faster. Don't have any on the truck. Chuck, send me some 5/32, brother. All right, that's what you want to see right there. That slag falling off means everything's going well. Beautiful. We got a little spot where slag is sticking. Simply take your chipping hammer, make sure there's no grease on it like it has. That's one of the things you got to be aware of when you're doing this shit. Love to see them peel. We're really starting to get up to the right temperature now. Now, if you want to get scientific, you can get a temp gun out, and you really want to keep it, obviously, above ambient. 100 to like 125 is ideal. That's like in the pocket. You don't really want to weld when it's over 200. You start getting where there's too much deposition of the rod, and it just starts eating into the material too deep. We got to chop this off, and like I said, I have to do something about that, but my mistake was not bending this runoff tab. Should know better after all these years, but we all make mistakes. Ooh, that fucker's still on there pretty good. I want to cut down into this weld. So I lowered the amperage a little bit for this final pass to try to eliminate that little bit of undercut I have from here to here. We'll run it all the way in. And I gotta do something about this too. That might be a stress riser, I don't know. We'll grind that flat and see what it looks like. All right, now we have to address the inside here. All right, so that's the end of this side. We just gotta get this side done now. I need to gouge it a little bit more, it looks like. Yeah, it looks good, no defects. I'd call that done. So on this side, I thought I'd gouged it enough. Maybe when we're putting heat on this side exposed itself a little bit. And you can see there's a crack. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but there's still a crack right there. So I need to get the air arc back on and blow the rest of that out. So this crack, you know, obviously we're never gonna get through it because that's actually where two pieces of metal meet. This crack, I think we're through it. This is the shitty part about this. You know, all you can do is give it your best guess, but I'm gonna run the gouge to the air arc here a couple more times. Nothing crazy, but just a couple more times. Open up this top, and I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. Here's our problem, I can't get the fucking wire wheel in there now. All right, so I do have a needle scaler. So I've got this pretty well built up. Instead of putting a runoff tab on it, what I did instead was just built this up, paused here for a while so it would build. Now what you can see here is I'm gonna need to come back. I'm gonna need to gouge this out. I'm just gonna use a grinder and we'll finish this. But we only got a few more passes now. All right, guys, that's the whole job. That was a lot of gouging. It was a lot more than I expected when I first rolled in. Hopefully this crack repair stays together. Like I said, it was hard to see where the crack started and where it ended. But if you liked the video, like, subscribe, share, do the whole 9 for your boy. If you really liked the video, head over to meltinmetal.net. Get yourself one of these slick FRs, a t-shirt, a hat, whatever else we got for sale, stickers, what have you. And you can be entered for a chance to win my old welding rig, Caracol 1997 F Super Duty with the crane, utility bed, the whole works, and the compressor that's on it. But if you didn't like the video, remember, go fuck yourself.